Alright, we're into game number 1 here of the Winners Bracket Semifinals between Lions and dnL Esports. As I think this is the highest profile match I've ever casted, because normally this stuff gets taken by Breaky and Beef, and I have no interest in dual covering stuff. I mean, if you want to watch it, it's available on Twitch or on YouTube. If Twitch is not your thing, because it's annoying how they force you to load in high definition, and some people can't watch that, like me. Then sorry. HoNcast eventually updates their stuff occasionally. And it's weird because Beef's in this game. I guess he's just spectating, not casting, but whatever. We can cast it anyway, and if it's dual casted, I guess it's not that big a deal. Bans are out: Pestilence and Parasite, Ophelia, Grinix. So nothing crazy here. Parasite's a little odd that he would be banned out so early. Fuzi once again taking over the draft and roll. Is Notice and Pan is back, so Van Sensation is no longer needed, but again is still here, as Hanskin is absent and has been for a lot of this series. So interesting that A, Lions lost Hanskin for so much of Diamond Cycle 9, and B, it didn't seem to matter very much. Still extremely phenomenal play, so kudos to Fuzi, replacing him well in that captain role, and also maybe they just don't like you, Hanskin. Maybe you don't matter at all, and maybe you're bad. I'm just saying, like, that's another theory. It's wrong, but it's a different theory. Anyway, nothing really weird about those bans. I guess Parasite's a little odd. I can sort of see why they do it. It's not like we don't see that hero. What are they doing banning Parasite? It's just usually not really first ban material. It does mean that Tempest is the only real jungler in the pool. As Keeper, we don't see too much of him in the jungle in Diamond Cycle 9. So far he is still available, so I'm kind of surprised Tempest hasn't been picked up yet. I would expect him to get selected here by Fuzi with his third pick, but that would be on top of Engineer and Torturer, who are presumably both supports. Now, if they do pick up Tempest, it's going to be a carry Torturer, which is just fine. I like carry Tor a lot. I mean, he's a very, very powerful damage dealer and can become extremely annoying, especially if you go Icon on him. So I really have no issues with that combination whatsoever. And I think they should pick up the Tempest here, in fact, because nope, gonna be Moon Queen. So probably gonna be a support Torturer. We'll see. Maybe the Hellborn side will go for Tempest. Both of these teams picking heavy team fight lineups, of course, with Engineer, Torture, both doing lots of AoE damage. Engineer mostly for his ultimate, but Moon Queen also lots of AoE damage with the bounces and with her ult. So lots of team fight here, lots of group up and push stuff. Torture, Impalement, of course. Moon Queen also strong at that. And Hellborn will select that Tempest, so looking to go with the jungle against a dual support strat here on Legion. I suspect most of Fuzi's bans now will be support bans, as Hellborn do not have a support hero up yet. They've got Bubbles and Hag on top of Tempest, so a very strong ulti synergy combination. Pretty solid push and gank as well. Bubbles and Hag both with burst magic damage and strong long-range initiation. Presumably if Tempest gets that portal key, he'll have similar abilities. I'm a little concerned about their lack of stuns. Glacial Blasts are the only reliable stun that they've got at this point. So I'd like whatever support they pick up to have a reliable stun, at least semi-reliable. Master of Arms is a very promising hero in that manner. Pyromancer perhaps a little less so in terms of reliability, but definitely has a stun. And Rhapsody, I think, would be the other option. I think Rapper or Master right here would be the best options. Master would provide some more anti-push, so any pushing on the Legion side would be very difficult because the Shell Surf and the Master of Arms goo would stop a lot of that. It would also prevent Legion from picking up Master, who they can run as a carry, but and it would fit their lineup, but we'll see. So I'm liking both lineups here. A little more late game on Legion, as Hag will presumably be run in that short lane role. I really hope they do. Like whenever you have a Bubbles and a Hag, and that's not an uncommon combination, I don't like to see Hag run into Suicide and Bubbles in the middle of the short lane. It just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. Hag is a hero that can turn a short lane into a very good game. She can take a nice early start, get a light brand, get a Grimoire, and start to snowball. Bubbles can do that to some extent. He can turn a nice early game into a nice mid game, but he can't really turn it into a nice late game almost no matter what he does. If you got a 500 to 600 GPM Bubbles, that's a different story, but we just don't see that often enough. You know, he's just not a hero that gets to that farming height very much. So we'll see what Hellborn chooses to do, but I certainly hope that's going to be a short lane Hag, a Suicide Bubbles, and a jungle Tempest, which would leave them looking for a mid-initiating hero, probably something tanky. Pestilence is banned out, so can't pick him up, but Meraxis is on the board. We got Devour if you want to get crazy. Prisoner is also available. What else? Balf, it's possible. Pebbles is up. Would certainly be a very strong pick. I think Pebbles, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. Pebbles is my favorite choice here. A little more burst damage and a stun, so they don't have a lot of those. Would add one. Magmas could also work out very well, would complement the team fight. I hope Pearl is not what they select, because once again, no stuns. Drunken Master works very well. I hadn't noticed him, but yes, that's absolutely going to fit that model. So he'll presumably be playing that mid role with Hag in the short lane, Bubbles at the suicide position. Could also be a DM short and Hag middle. Those are pretty solid lanes. Going over the bans real fast here. Cersei, Empath, and Kraken here for Fuzi, as neither of those two are surprising. Of course, taking out those support heroes. Kraken a little bit more interesting. Obviously a versatile hero, so that would theoretically give the Hellborn side 3 heroes that they could put in any lane, and that's still true with Drunken Master being able to play pretty much every lane. His Cherry's coming out, so that's going to be fun. But nonetheless, a sensible ban on Kraken. Hellborn ban out Andro, Pharaoh, and Keeper of the Forest. Andro ban a little odd, considering with the Moon Queen and Moon Queen selection as their 3rd pick, it's pretty clear they're going for a Torturer support here. And not really then, Andro doesn't really fit the lineup. It does help because it removes basically Tempest counters, and that's essentially the theme that we go for with Zlap. He's like, I want a Tempest ultimate, and Andro, Pharaoh, and Keeper of the Forest all notorious for being able to cancel that Tempest ultimate, so Hellborn really building their lineup around being able to get a full duration temp ult off, and that makes some sense with Wretched Hags, Bat Blast, and Sonar Scream being big factors in terms of damage follow-up, Drunken Master being able to do a lot inside a Tempest ultimate, Bubbles too for that matter, so we'll see what they choose to go for the last pick, but Ben's certainly making sense for them. Meanwhile, they did pick up Gauntlet and Jeraziah here on the Legion side, figuring that Gauntlet's a little more powerful, I guess, than Dev. Dev's, I think more fun, but Gauntlet provides quite a bit more burst damage. Not quite as tanky, but and also a bit more helpful to his team because of the way the hook works. Dev can hook people back. If Gauntlet and a teammate get caught out, Gauntlet can hook them both away. So a little more utility there from the hook. And Jeraziah will be the last pick here. Jonasum Fan is on that hero, so it's looking like it's going to be a suicide Jeraziah. That's pretty interesting. I kind of like it. With all the magic damage coming out from Hellborn, Bubbles, Hag, Tempest, having the repel onto Moon Queen will be extremely helpful. It means she can go just straight damage and ignore the Shrunken Head because Jerry's always going to be putting that repel on her. Gauntlet will benefit too. He can probably avoid a Shrunken Head, especially early on, as he's, a heavy gank hero, and so jumping into a bunch of heroes is not often going to be met with the most success. Sometimes you get locked down. Shrunken Head will now stop a lot of that, the repel will stop a lot of that, so I like that Jerry pick. He's always fun to see. He does tend to do fairly well when we pick him up, and then all of a sudden nobody ever picks him, so we'll see how he does. I like the selection. Also, the ultimate stopping all of Drunken Master's stuff, and just a highly defensive hero here, of course, but he does have some offensive potential as well. Meanwhile, Drunken Master and Monarch here on the Hellborn side. I don't like the Monarch pick. I prefer an AoE stun, and if it's not an AoE stun, Crippling Pollen is just an immobilize and a silence. They needed stuns. DM grants them a stun. That's good. It's also only a single target stun. So they have 2 single target stuns and 1 single target immobilize here. In team fights, they're going to be relying so heavily on the Tempest Ultimate and Kelp Field that if they don't get things set up perfectly, if the Legion side is not all bunched up, things are going to go very badly for them just because they're not going to have any AoE damage really outside of a few abilities, and they're not going to be able to lock down the opposing heroes. Now with the high mobility of Moon Queen, who has high base move speed, and tends to be pretty fast either with Ghost Marchers or Energizer or both, plus Gauntlet being able to hook people in and out of fights, Jeraziah being able to help out with the heal bombs and the repels, I'm just not feeling it. It doesn't seem to me like Monarch or Drunken Master makes a ton of sense. I don't see Monarch as a strong hero there. I would have preferred something like a Rhapsody. Get stuns in there on single target, help out Tempest with the dance floor, that'll make their push even stronger. Legion's push isn't great, and Hellborn's push with the Tempest and Rhapsody and Bubbles and Hag would have been much stronger. The ultimate as well for the burst initiation, as well as the Moon Queen beams, would have been extremely powerful, so dropping a Moon Queen ultimate in the middle of a Rhapsody ultimate prevents a lot of the damage because you have to hit the Rhapsody with the bounces, and that's fairly unlikely. Bottom lane Bubbles getting harassed out a little bit here, so I'm not a huge fan of that Monarch pick, and we'll see how it works out, but at this stage I don't think it was the right selection. Bot lane is Bubbles versus NG and Moon Queen, and Bubbles taking a ton of damage here, as the health bot will have to activate it. So this should obviously be a 1 lane here for the Legion side, as they are strongly in favor. Up in the middle lane, it's going to be DM, and it was also Monarch versus this Jeremiah. Monarch has now left, decided to go top, as they're running a dual lane top on Legion. So 2-1-2 strat here. Jerry should be just fine in this middle lane. Going to take some harassment from Drunken Master, and we've seen this matchup before. We've seen it go Drunken Master's way, and it certainly can. We've seen it go Jerry's way, and it certainly can do that as well. Obviously going Righteous Aura over the Repel because, you know, DM just has no magical damage. There's no point in getting that ability. So DM going to find it a little more difficult to chase this Jerry, a little more difficult to kill him, of course, with that Inner Light. And should be a relatively even lane. Either of these heroes really can kill the other one. Of course, it's just Inner Light damage just so much. And with the heal, it's a big deal. I think Drunken Master is slightly favored, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. And of course, Joseph Fan, a very strong player. Up top, we got Torture and Gauntlet going up against Hag, and now Torture, Monarch, who's in the jungle. Now, this is the only problem with running a short lane Hag, is if you duel or tri-lane him, he doesn't like to have supports because he wants the experience. So Monarch being up here, leeching experience from him is actually not that great a thing. It's nice because it provides some protection. But in terms of getting Hag out of the laning phase and into the mid-game with strong levels and strong farm, it's not going to be the best thing in the world. The other consideration, of course, is Gauntlet Hook into a Torture or Stun, into an Infernal Instability, and possibly a Gauntlet Blast is death for Hag, as she is just a squishy hero, and Gauntlet provides a lot of burst damage, so if Gauntlet hits 6 before she does, which is very possible, or not even before she does, just when Gauntlet hits 6, Gauntlet Blast plus Hook plus Infernal Stability plus Torture stuff is going to be a dead Hag. So Monarch over here pushing this lane, or pulling this lane, going to be able to get lane control back here for Hag, very important obviously. So well done to him. Just an CS there, but that's not that big a deal. So no surprise here, and then of course you have the Tempest in the jungle, who's basically just free farming his butt off. So Legion potentially winning 3 lanes, definitely pretty much going to win this bot. Actually, Engineer's rotating top, so we're actually turning this into a tri-lane top. And I like their desire to shut down the Hag, Infernal Stability, and this is going to be a lot of damage. Nice pod on Hag, going to be able to get her to blink away, and she pops the health pod, so much damage coming out there, being mitigated by the Chrysalis. And of course the healing, that definitely saved her life, because that would have been a kill, no doubt. If she had not gotten healed. But nice hook there from Gauntlet, trying to bring it in. This tri-lane here now going to be a big problem for Hag, because she is not a hero that likes to survive burst. There's lots of stuns, 3 technically if you consider Gauntlet took a stun, which it does stun, it's just a short one. So with some nice energy here, and you know, stun into chain react, Gauntlet hook into chain reactions, and then Infernal Stability, Keg, and turret. Everything lines up very well. It shouldn't overlap too much, and as a result should be okay. Tempest Elementals, and that will be a kill onto Joseph Fan in a minute, as he just got completely blocked by those Elementals. Tempest now going to pull himself back. Interesting, I probably would have chosen to push the tower there, but whatever. As Gold Need now certainly in their favor, and Experience Lead massively in favor of the Hellborn. This is what tends to happen when you have a dual support strat up against a jungler. It's just, you have to win at least 2 lanes, and if you don't, you lose pretty massively in the laning phase. Even if you do win 2 lanes, unless you win 3, you tend to split the gold and take an experience disadvantage, because the jungler is free farming in the woods, and so you have more creep kills split among the same amount of heroes, so you get increased experience. So a little less CS in the lane, but more overall experience. Because even with the knives, the creeps are still dying, so we'll see how things go. Angie dropping a turret there. Going to put go into this Monarch here. Puts Chrysalis on herself. Just going to keep her there on the chain reactions. Looking for the hook as well. Infernal Instability, and now Monarch's going to die here. Trying to get a counter kill on Angie, who does still have the haunt on him. Hag looking for a Sonar Scream, not going to find it. And Angie's going to sit in the woods there until haunt wears off, then pop a potion. So nice pick there onto support. Evens up the hero kills at 1-1. And trying that up here, going pretty well for Legion. 280 GPM for Gauntlet and 190 for Flenspicer, so that's a pretty big issue there for him, obviously. And like I said, this is one of the reasons I don't like Suicide Hag as much as I like her in the carry role, because she can certainly recover from a low GPM like this, but A, you put her in a short lane so that this wouldn't happen, and B, the fact that she's going to have to recover from a start like this is going to make this Moon Queen a serious problem. because even on equal footing, Hag will not outcarry Moon Queen. Now that we've got Moon Queen substantially ahead in the early game, and she's at 340 gold per minute, below the DM and just above the Tempest, but well ahead of the Hag, things are going to become problematic for Hellborn. So it is worth noting, of course, they have the Drunken Master, who's a fairly good carry on his own right, and of course they have the Tempest and all sorts of AoE damage in team fights, so or AoE ults in team fights, I should say. Bubbles off to the side, looking for the juke. Moon Queen wants the jump. Moonbeam does so much damage. Shell Surf can go off to the side, and Moon Queen's just like, I'm going to follow you now. I have a Moonbeam up in a second. There's that, and now ultimate. Nope, not going to follow it up. She did have enough for the ultimate, but choosing not to go for it, I think, just out of range. But will just force Bubbles back out of lane, and probably just as effective, really. Up top tag, going to get locked down a little bit, but will be able to blink away. So she's going to be alright. And Goldie now relatively even experience, but once again, as Monarch is just totally screwed here. Puts the Chrysalis down, trying to keep herself alive long enough to get the turn, and actually she will. Tempest coming in here looking for an ultimate. Shell Surf off to the side, and Bubbles is here as well, not level 6, so not able to get it. A nice Tempest ultimate getting it on 3. Just not enough damage coming out from it, though, as the Jerry ultimate comes out as well. Keg's done as Monarch puts the Chrysalis down once again. Seal Kid falls meanwhile. Slap dies as well, though, so it's a 1-for-1. Now Super KG also going down, so Hellborn taking a nice advantage here. Picks up the Torture, and Mickey on this Drunken Master just destroying the opposing team. So nice Tempest ultimate there, locking people down, getting some time there for the Hellborn side to come in and do some damage. It's just too bad that during the Tempest ultimate itself, no damage came out. You know, Hag not level 6 yet. Bubbles not level 6 yet. Just had some issues. And of course, I had already used the Shell Surf just to get into the fight. So lacking some damage there. So we'll see what Legion can do. They are actually behind a little bit here, as their lane phase is not going particularly well. And that's a bit of an issue, because with a jungler here, you know, being able to take extra resources, Legion sort of need to have a good laning phase, and considering they have both Hag and DM, plus the Tempest ultimate on Hellborn, things get a little ugly for Legion if they don't start turning this around a little bit. I mean, their teamfight potential is certainly very strong, so it's not like if they start teamfighting on Hellborn, Legion will be like, oh god, what do we do? We can't do this. We're just going to lose. No, I mean, they have the Moon Queen ultimate, they have the Jerezai ulti, they have the Engineer ulti. They have all sorts of damage from Torture. It's not that big a deal, it's just the lockdown from Hellborn, and the burst damage is a little bit higher. Jerry throwing the heal, doing a ton of damage to Drunken Master. So again, Fuzi, and just of course, during that whole fight as well, he was just sitting down here free farming, so... Mickey now at 440 gold per minute, and Bubbles, what you doing, buddy? Throws the Shell Surf out, and pops the health pot. No! Oh, God! He had 2 health. Fuzi's word of sight down there, being able to spot him out, of course. He's got to be a little bit about that. I'm like, really? 2 health? Monarch coming in from assistance too, preventing Fuzi from chasing. As of course he would have had another Moonbeam up relatively soon and could have finished off the kill, but with the Crippling Pollen, not possible. Now gonna find Jerezai over here in the river and just run the hell away, as she doesn't want to take out that sort of opponent quite yet. Bot ring gonna be spawning. Mickey's already hasted, chasing down this Jerry, but he's just gonna look for something that he's not gonna find. Running through the jungle here. Will sees Torture and Jerry though, so God, he's blocking himself in with the Wild Hunters. Activates that, but the inner light goes out onto Torture, and now just massive death. I think it goes up so high. So hates the Drunken Master being able to pick up another kill. Regen from bot as well, so he'll be able to pick that up and get all his health and mana back. It's a nice get. So Mickey on this Drunken Master doing really well, 430 gold per minute. Fuzi's just behind him at 360, and then Tempest at 320, 300 for Gauntlet, and nobody else doing particularly well. So DM here, having a good time, having a good start. They sort of need that to happen considering what's happening with Hag, who I presume will still be going for that light-branded Grimoire, as she ultimately may not carry as hard as DM just because of the start that she's having compared to DMs, but certainly needs to be able to build that damage up in terms of right-click auto attacks. She wants to be able to turn Tempest Ultimate into actual kills and not just drop her burst and be like, oh, I got nothing else, and they're too tanky to survive that, especially because they have Jerry and Gauntlet to help each other out, put some heals down, get some magic immunity off. Jerry taking a bunch of damage from Drunken Master. And he's in a little bit of trouble, actually. He has no heal at this point, and he's going to die. Wow. Torture from bot. Fuzi looking for something off to the side as Bubbles is once again over here. Going to get caught out a little bit by this Moonbeam. And there it is. Moon Queen ultimate going off. Actually, it's nothing, but he's going to port right into it, and I'm going to take a bunch of damage there. So, easy kill there on Fabelli, as he tries to evade the Moon Queen and the Moon Queen ultimate in the first place, and in so doing, walks right into it. It's a bit of an issue there. Hag and Monarch up top, playing pretty damn defensive considering Gauntlet is here by himself. They don't really know that, I don't think, but there's enough heroes going on. Crippling falling onto Gauntlet, plus Drunken Master coming in, and he's just totally screwed. That thing goes in such a huge arc now. So they increase the travel time on it, so it's like... I don't know why Monarch needed a nerf like that. I think they changed it so they made it do more damage or something like that, and they increased travel time, which is, I guess, fine, but I'd say Monarch needed just a straight buff. Her ultimate is sort of useless. It's hard to position, it's hard to figure out like when to use it, and I understand like the value of it, removing all the debuffs, giving everybody increased move speed, and it's a very supporty ultimate, so certainly there's something there, I think, in the concept, but it just doesn't seem like it's powerful enough, doesn't seem like it's big enough. Seems awfully difficult to land. Anyway. Hellborn, we're grouping up a little bit for this mid push, but Gauntlet is here, and so are Jumpsuit Fan and Fuzi here on that Jerry and Moon Queen, so not choosing to go through with it up top. Engineer going to pour it out, and Wretched Hag will find nothing as a result. Good decision there from Silk Kid because he was getting jumped. Jerry throwing the Inner Light heal, and we'll just use it to harass Drunken Master, but it's not really doing that much damage. Off to the side over here, Moon Queen in the jungle looking to get picked as Tempest is here. Not enough range for the Glacial Blasts. We'll instead turn that Vagabond thing, middle creep, into a bunch of elementals, take out the leader. Up top, actually, Flensmeister dies to Gauntlet solo. I assume that's going to be nice hook, actually, and a Gauntlet Blast onto the Infernal Instability, and that's going to be it. Oh, Flensmeister, you're just too squishy. So now DM looking for a jump onto this Jerry, but he's gonna get more than he bargained for with Moon Queen here. Shelter coming in from Bubbles, trying to help him out a little bit. And Monarch is here as well. Repel plus the ultimate going off to the side. Torture putting everything. Glacial Blaster on an Engineer. DM's chasing these guys down. And 4 heroes here from the Legion, still trying to kill this Drunken. It's not going to happen. Puts the crippling, or the pod out, and DM's going to run away. Chain Reaction just a little too late. So, too mobile there on Drunken Master to clean him up, but pretty heavy dive there. Doesn't get anything out of it as he's going on Jerizaiah, which doesn't tend to result in kills, because he's so damn tanky. But now the Elementals have split. This is going to be a mid-tower push, and probably a death. I don't think they're going to be able to prevent this from dying. The question is the deny. Scotland's also looking for a hook here. Will get one on a Hag and the Infernal Instability, but she just has a blink, so it's not a problem. Kelfield going off onto nothing. So they get the mid-tower kill. All 5 heroes grouped up here for the Hellborn team, and they will back off as they got what they came for. First tower kill of the game, 15 minutes in. A little late considering the push on really both sides. As you have the Impalement from Torture, Moon Queen bounces, Gauntlets burst onto creep waves, Jerizaiah's ability to heal stuff up. And of course on Hellborn you have the Sonar Scream, the Shell Surf, Song of the Sea, cleaning up creep waves, plus the Stagger as well for that matter, and the Tempest Elementals helping out with some building damage. So Angel's going to get taken over here by 4 heroes from the Legion side. Moon Queen getting pretty much all of it. And she's looking for her Firebrand. We'll have it now at this point. Already having that Whispering Helm, so strong farm for her, 404 gold per minute, just at the exact same mark now as the Drunken Master is. He's fallen off a little bit, and she's caught up. Not a surprise, Moon Queen just generally a stronger farmer than almost any hero in the game. In fact, in terms of native farmability, I'm not sure if there's a hero that's better than her. I think she's probably the best farmer in the game. That multi-strike is just so damn powerful. And the abilities, sorry, just Gauntlet stepping on here on the Hag will not get the hook off, and now he's in a lot of trouble. Glacial Blast on top of the Crippling Paw, and he's just dead. So looking for a jump there, I didn't realize how much support was present, and Zlapt and support there will be able to help out Flensmeister, and they'll get a top tower kill too. So a pick and a kill, and dnL are playing very well here. I don't mean to sound like surprised or anything like that, it's just that Lions is, you know, one of the top 2 teams in HoN. Some people say the best, some people say the second best. Depends on how you feel about SG. But dnL is certainly up there. I think definitely top 5. But there's also a pretty big gap too. So it's not like saying, oh, you're top 5 and you're top 2. Oh, so this should be a real super competitive series. It will be a competitive series, absolutely, and it has been so far at least. But I think there's still a pretty clear favorite in Lions. That's not to say we haven't seen upsets before, because we certainly have. Anyway, Gauntlet here farming middle, and off to the side a bunch of heroes. Dwight does Portal Key away as he just picked that up. Moon Queen, meanwhile, has finished her Firebrand, presumably going to go for the Geometer's Bane next, as I don't think she's going to prioritize the Shrunken Head with Jerry and her team. And probably shouldn't. Jerry, meanwhile, has a Ring of Sorcery, just regular boots though on a bottle, so plenty of mana regen, plenty of general overall regen considering he can turn mana into health. But not the greatest start for him, 214 gold per minute. Really not the greatest start for anybody on Legion except for Moon Queen, who's 430 now, out farming everybody. 260 on Gauntlet, 213 now on Jerry, 135 on Torture, and 91 on Engineer. Not great farming for anybody on Legion. Off to the side, Jerry and Engineer will help out Gauntlet middle and start the push here. Held Monochorus, a little more gold on everybody. Both Tempest and Drunken Master doing very well, and Hag is certainly recovering from an early start that was not the greatest. Support, and, sorry, not support, but Fabelli on that Suicide Bubble is not really doing so well, but Bubbles is sort of that hero. He'll have 160 GPM for the first 15 minutes of the game, and all of a sudden you look back at him 3 minutes later, and it's like, now you have 400 gold per minute. How'd the hell that happen? And it's because he's just so good at involving himself in kills, getting assists, getting last hits on those heroes, and does tend to turn a crap early game into a very strong late game, or mid game very quickly. Because even if he has no gold, the abilities are just so powerful. It doesn't tend to matter. And that's why he's a good suicide hero. That's what makes a good suicide hero. Up top, Hag going to throw the Sonar Scream out on top of an aggressive Blink. Gauntlet, sorry, Cherries. They're both purple. It's very annoying. And Gauntlet's been spending so much time with this top lane. I'm like, what is happening? Anyway, there's a Geo's being finished on Moon Queen. Not a surprise whatsoever. Choosing to go for a heavy damage route, and I certainly agree with that decision. After this might in fact finish the Shrunken Head just so Jerry can put the Repel on himself, a support, or that Gauntlet, but I think in the early stages of this game going for the Geos, the damage over the Shrunken, is certainly the right decision because he is certainly the priority when it comes to Repel. Like if he needs to get Magic Immune, he will over anybody else. Bot Tower getting pushed in a little bit here. Impale from Torture is level 4. Oops, sorry, I mean, while in mid, Sealkid getting jumped by this Drunken Master just like 3. Yep. Man, he hits hard. Soul's Bulwark, obviously, and the Ghost Marcher's a lot of physical damage here. 112, now 172 with a stagger. Of course, doing damage in an area, and then that one auto attack, and then a lunge, and all of a sudden you're dead. Especially Sealkid, who has just 800 health. Geobane Illusions will clean up the Creep Wave for Moon Queen, and possibly the next one as well. Nope, they expire. So MQ being able to use those to farm a little bit more, now up to 500 gold per minute. She just consistently explodes. This is what this hero does. And it's insane. Over the side, Gauntlet Blast going to go on Mika here, and he's in a lot of trouble. Gets everything on him, and he bursts it down in about half a second. It's going to turn into a mid-tower push here for the Legion side as That's a bit of an issue. Crippling Pawing there on Gauntlet as Monarch's trying to get the hell out of there. This is going to be a dead tower now because something that we haven't mentioned yet is Mickey is like all their damage. Hag's got a fair bit with the Bat Blast and Sonar Scream, and she is working on the Light Brand, so that's good. Nice deny there from Flensmeister. Meanwhile, Hook from Gauntlet not going to hit anything. But with Tempest focusing on Lockdown, Bubbles being more magical, and the Repel being in there, plus he's just not ever going to be a right-click threat, really. Mickey in the middle of a fight is most of their sustained right-click damage. Hag doesn't do too much, Bubbles doesn't do too much, Tempest is busy ulting, Monarch is a support, so when it comes to just, you know, keeping damage up over a fight, if Mickey is not there, it's going to be very difficult for the Hellborn team. Once they drop their burst, they're basically going to be like, well, we're done. So either you're dead or you're not, but it's not going to change. So nice pick there from Legion. Obviously the portal key on Gauntlet helping out a lot. Ancients being done here as well. Flensmeister trying to get that Light Brand, and has enough. So 21-minute Light Brand here at 305 gold per minute should have the Grimoire of Power in the next 5 or 6 minutes. Up top, Jared taking us some farm, and is doing so. 250 gold per minute for him now. KG is up to 300, and obviously Moon Queen continues to inflate herself at 520 gold per minute now, just consistently taking this jungle, destroying it so fast, stacking the Ancients with her Whispering Helm creep. Something that you gotta point out, you know, is just like, Whispering Helm is not only a really, really good item on Moon Queen, it helps her out with the jungle stacking, so it's like positive feedback there. You know, a lot of heroes you'd be like, ah, Whispering Helm, that's probably not a great thing, even if it helps with the jungle stacking. Meanwhile, in the middle, Gauntlet gets chased down by the DM Illusion, so nothing really happening there. But on the mini-map, it looked impressive. So just really plenty about Moon Queen. The multi-strike, the Lunar Blessing, obviously, as well. Turning her into a very strong hero, or a farming hero. Her abilities do that, her recommended items do that. They're good at pushing. Drunken Master over here in some trouble as well, as takes Gauntlet Blast, and actually surprising he doesn't put the ultimate up, but Monarch Sari's Cleansing Wind will actually help him a lot in that situation. Taking the debuff off, which is a stun in that case, and getting him the hell out of there. So Legion looking for a pick on Mickey once again, as they're going to go get that Drunken Master turned into a tower kill, and it was not successful, so they will go back. Moon Queen going to take these tripled Ancients. And what a surprise, she's cleaning them up super fast. Yay for multi-strike! Up top, Flensmeister actually falls somehow. Hook in, and there's a stun. The chain reaction is just you're dead. So. Light Brand Hag, obviously not a hugely tanky hero, 910 health. I believe that was on Steam Boots as well, so a bit of a problem there. And once you get caught by the hook, you're pretty much dead. Hook into chain reactions, lock you down for plenty of time. There's lots of burst damage coming up from Gauntlet anyway. So Hellborn now doing their own Ancients. They're just double stacked, but still plenty of monies. That might have been a triple, actually. Yeah, that must have been a triple. Triple Predecessors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, could have been a double. No, 1, 2, 3 Predecessors. So okay, that was a triple. Counting. Counting's hard. On bot, Jerry over here gonna get jumped. Kelphil goes on top and puts the repel and just ports away. Like, what are you gonna do? Tempest ultimate going off, and oh, that's painful. Slap there trying to lock him down, and it does not work. Teleport goes off just a second too early. So now they know that there's no Tempest ultimate available from him, and they should be able to defend this.
The Legion had
Top tower falls. In the meantime, Gauntlet gonna port down here, and Torture is coming. That's a fake, actually, that's why. Noxious Cloud going in the back, trying to dissuade some stuff. MQ pops her illusions, and now they're looking for a jump. Gauntlet Blast going on to DM there. Obviously has a Shrunken head up, so he'll be okay. Now looking for a repick on Gauntlet, but a nice ultimate going out. Energy Field going down, doing nothing. Noxious Cloud slow and Moon Queen illusions down, and they're just going to get out on the Hellborn team. As Legion decide not to pursue anymore, will successfully defend their tower. That's my Facebook. Don't worry about it. Jerry down here looking for us. 26-minute rune, not going to happen, as he has a portal key. Okay, that's new. I understand the appeal. I mean, I'm of the opinion that there are two items, really, that are never bad on any hero. Bottle and portal key. Icon, too, I guess you could say, but there's so much farm required for that, it's not really even a thing. And there's some heroes where that's, like, well done on the list on items you want. You know, a Kong where being attempted as a giant thing comes out, so I'm not sure what the hell that was, but probably a graphics bug. DD Rune on Drunken Master going to help him out a lot. Legion do know this is going on. The question is, can they kill this in time? Moon Queen coming in here with the Repel. Drunken's trying to get this, but he's not going to. Bubble's going to fall in the meantime. He'll fill onto a bunch, but MQ's throwing out auto attacks all over the place. Hag off to the side. Going to get locked down for just long enough. And now they're going to steal Kongor. So that Kongor kill from Hellborn, bad idea. Fuzi now has a token. Over here, Gauntlet Blast onto Monarch, and she's just dead. KGE gets the hook out, and it's like, no, Josephine, you cannot have that kill. It's mine. I want it. MQ running through the middle tower for some reason, and will come push bottom. So there's going to be a death on the tower down here. Still another minute up until the Tempest ultimate is available, so they're going to keep pushing this, and they absolutely should. Token up on Moon Queen. Oh, maybe not. Maybe they'll just send the illusions in. Instead, going to steal these double-stacked Ancients. MQ illusions get cleaned up, but a bit of damage coming out for the tower. So, surprising to me that they chose not to push that in, really. The Tempest ultimate went up for a while, and they had another 15 or 20 seconds left on both Hag and Monarch, so... Nyeh. I suppose most of their ultimates were down. Gauntlet Blast was down. Soul's Blessing was down, too, so... I can't really fault the safe play. Now they have a 7.5k golden experience lead, and things are looking pretty solid for them. MQ once again stacking the Ancients with that Skeleton King. Good job, Boozy. Bottom lane, Bubbles is down here, throws a Shell Surf out. We'll get the hell out of here as the Geometer's Bane illusions will clean up the rest of this creep wave. Puzzle Box picked up by Wretched Hag. So I thought she was going Light Brand. She was in fact going Puzzle Box. That's a normal build. That's what we see that all the time. That's typical, right? Typical Puzzle Box build. I don't know why you would. Okay, I understand actually. Okay, that's not true. I know why they did this, because Puzzle Box is extremely popular against Moon Queen. Since she can't control where the Moon Queen ultimate bounces are going, and she can't control where the multi-strike bounces are going, if you put that Mauler in the front of things, she will kill it accidentally. And it does 800 true damage at level 3. Which is a ton, especially because Moon Queen's not that squishy, or not that tanky. I think it does 800. She might actually have to use it for me to see. Yeah, she did use it though, so... Where are you, Hag? There you are. Where's your Mauler and stuff go? What the hell? How come I can't see him? I'm not crazy, right? She used it, it's on cooldown. I guess you're not here anymore. They did expire by this time anyway, so I'm not sure what I'm looking for. Regardless, I understand why Hag would... why they would get that on the Hellborn team. Seems like Hag shouldn't be getting that. Like, that's not a Hag item. There's no reason for her to have Puzzle Box. Tempest? Sure. Get more minions to push. Off to the side now, looking for a jump onto Tempest. He's got the Righteous Aura on him, so he's real slow, but just far enough into the base to be able to be fine. MQ has a Wing Bow picked up, so once again, on top of the Shrunken Head, Symbol of Rage, so not a surprise that she'd choose to forego the Shrunken Head here, obviously with the Repel available from Jerizaiah, so... We'll put the illusions up and start to destroy this tower. Now, MQ does not currently have... Man, those elementals died in half a second. And there goes the tower as well. So, good luck, Hellborn base. Look at the bouncies. Look at the bouncies! Bubbles is dying. Monarch is dying. Repel now on MQ, and there's like, what do we do about this? Tempest is dying.
A Hellborn barracks has been destroyed.
Bouncy, 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 bouncy.
A Hellborn barracks has
They did
been
nothing.
destroyed.
MQ was just like, I'm gonna take your tower and take your racks, and now what are you gonna do about it? And they did nothing. She has a token, obviously, so Hook there onto Bubbles, in fact, as a Gauntlet Blast is there as well, and she's dead. He's dead, whatever, it's dead. It's a turtle. MQ now is gonna be like, alright, now it's time for bot. And there's a CC vote. Okay. That was the most anticlimactic CC vote ever, but this is what are you gonna do against this Moon Queen, I guess. Puzzle box smaller. Doesn't say. Interesting. I'm really kind of surprised it doesn't say anywhere. Anyway, oh, what? No, that's just haste or okay. Anyway, so apparently the Legion have won, as they just decided on Hellboard, well, we can't do anything about this, so GG. So I guess GG. Well played to Lions. They got Fuzi massively farmed at 700 gold per minute, and then they won the game. So I guess that's all they had to do. We'll go to Lions then, and let's move on to game